Hi there, welcome to Studio Movie Recap. Today we going to recap romance drama film, Jazzman's Blues.
The movie begins with Hattie Mae, an old woman visits Jonathan Dupree, who is running for re-election as the Attorney General of Hopewell, Georgia. Based on his racist political beliefs. She asked him to solve the murder case of his son, Bayou, who was murdered 40 years ago. She gives Jonathan a stack of letters and tells him he can find all the information he needs to solve the case in them. When he sees that the letters are addressed to Leanne J. Harper, he decides not to destroy the letters and read them instead. Bayou comes from a musically inclined family. His father, Buster, is an accomplished guitarist, and his mother, Hattie Mae, is a superb blues singer. Despite being a talented vocalist, Bayou is discouraged from using his skill by his violent father, who continually abuses on him and considers him weak and slow. Willie Earl, Bayou's older brother and his father's favorite son, is a natural jazz trumpeter. Buster puts Bayou on the spot one time during a performance. He orders Bayou to the trumpet, but to Bayou's humiliation he is unable to play a note. Buster then calls Willie Earl, who effortlessly and effectively plays the trumpet to the pleasure of the audience. Later, Leanne overhears Bayou singing when he is skipping stones by the river. Leanne Jean Harper is an educated outsider who the locals refer to as Bucket. Due to the manner her mother abandoned her and left town to travel up north. The moment Bayou sees Bucket, she falls in love with her. They had conversation and enjoyed each other's company, and Bayou asked to see her again. Bayou plans to ask Leanne to the town social as his date. He went to her home where he found her grandfather, who was cruel and overly protective of her. He told Bayou to stay away from Leanne and threatened to kill him if he ever sees him in his property again. Later that evening, Leanne wrote Bayou a message and folds it into an airplane and launches it out of his open bedroom window. Bayou escapes his home secretly and follows Leanne to the yew tree. Bayou told Leanne that he can't read, so he couldn't understand what's written in the letter. When he was growing up, his father told him he was too dumb to learn to read. Leanne told him not to believe that it's a lie. She told him she will meet him there every night so she can teach him how to read. Every night they met secretly. Leanne would bring book to him to read, and they connected more every day. Bayou's mother was very happy to see her son happy. One day Bayou confessed his feelings for Leanne and asked her to be his girlfriend. She also had feelings for him, so they began to date. The day after, a fight between Bayou's parents occurred. Bayou's father said he no longer wants to be shamed by Bayou. He steals all of Hattie's money and leaves the family, claiming he is going to Chicago to become a famous musician. Willie Earl wanted to leave with his father, but he didn't allow him because he was still too young to travel. From that moment, Earl had resentment over his brother. He felt abandoned and blamed Bayou for his father's leaving. Soon later, Willie Earl reaches 19 years and makes the decision to leave home for Chicago in order to join his father's band. Leanne stopped visiting Bayou at night. Bayou was concerned, so he went to investigate the matter. Through the window, he witnesses Leanne's grandfather raping Leanne but hides and stays silent out of fear. The following day he told Leanne that he knew what her grandfather is doing to her and he wants to save her. He asked her to be his wife and proposed that they run away together to avoid her grandfather. She accepted. After Leanne's grandfather sends for her mother Ethel, they get separated. Leanne was forced to move to Boston by her mother. Bayou tried to stop her from leaving but failed. Bayou never stopped loving Leanne. He wrote letters to her every week, but Leanne's mother would get the letters first and instruct the postman to destroy all the letters coming from Bayou. Bayou enlists in the army but continues to write to Leanne. When he was done with his duty in army, he returned home to work for his mother. Hattie, his mother, opened a lucrative juke club where she sings every night and also earns as a laundress during the day. One evening, Willie Earl and Ira, a German man, arrive at the juke joint. Earl started playing trumpet and his mother was very happy to see her son back home. Earl and his manager were both high on drugs. Ira passed out due to drug overdose. Hattie Mae and Bayou cured him. Ira promised to provide Willie Earl an audition in Chicago, so he tells his mother about the promise. One night Bayou started singing in his mother's juke joint and Ira hears him sing. He was amazed by his voice and realized he is more talented than his brother Willie Earl and plans to have Bayou audition in Chicago too. After Leanne relocates to Hopewell with her new husband and mother from Boston, Bayou and Leanne cross paths once more. Leanne was married to politician John, the brother of Sheriff Jackson. Leanne wanted to see Bayou but was forced by her mother to not get back with him so they could maintain their financial security. Leanne didn't listen and still went to see Bayou later that night. They reunite and secretly bring back their romance. One night Leanne's mother decided to follow Leanne. She saw her with Bayou having passionate intimacy inside Leanne's car and didn't interrupt them. Leanne's mother deceived Sheriff Jackson by telling him that Bayou whistled at Leanne. To redeem his honor, John ordered Bayou to be killed. They wanted to burn him alive. When Tsitsi overhears this, she runs to warn Bayou so he can escape and leave the town before the mob comes and attacks him. They barely make it out of town with Willie Earl and Ira, who were leaving town for Willie Earl's audition at the Capitol Royale in Chicago. He had to start a new life in Chicago as well. Willie was furious and left the club after he was told Bayou was going to audition too. Ella then asked Bayou to take the stage to sing. Bayou didn't want to initially but ended up singing. Surprisingly, people loved him, so he became Capitol Royale's singer. Bayou sends money to his mother every week, but before Hattie can get it, the mailman opens all of her mail and steals the money. One day Leanne shows up pregnant Bayou's baby. Maddie helped her to give birth since the baby was coming out that moment. Hattie's juke joint continues to struggle in spite of Bayou's success since the sheriff has threatened to jail everyone who frequently visits her restaurant. Hattie planted a small garden in order to obtain enough food because no white person in the town would let her wash their clothes, so she didn't have a job or food. Willie Earl is fired from the Capitol Royale Club after his drug use is discovered. He is furious about losing his job and blames Bayou of being the cause of all of his problems, including his father's departure, his failing music career, and his drug usage. They fought. Bayou couldn't forget Leanne, so he asked his manager's permission to return home for one day. He didn't allow him to go since he knew people from that town wanted him dead. Bayou was ignorant. He didn't listen. He wanted to see Leanne. He allowed him but promised that it would be just one night, and they have to return before dawn the following day. When they got home, everyone was happy to see Bayou and they celebrated his success in music industry. Willie had envy for his brother and hated how people were happy for him. He couldn't even pretend to be happy, so he wanted some time alone. He went to Sheriff Jackson and snitched that Bayou is back in town. Bayou reunites with Leanne. They got emotional and Leanne shows Bayou his baby. He was happy to see his son and planned to move to Chicago with them to start their lives. While playing trumpet, Willie cried but still didn't warn people that the mob was coming to kill Bayou because he wanted him dead. Inside old car, Bayou and Leanne saw the mob with fire ready to kill Bayou. Leanne tried to beg Bayou to hide so he won't get killed, but Bayou forced his way out, saying he is tired of running away. The mob found him and killed him. By the time Bayou's family find out, Bayou was hanged on the tree, dead. Present time, after reading the letters, Jonathan, who is Leanne's son, is shocked and believes that he is actually Bayou's son and Hattie's grandson. When Jonathan sees his mother, she sobs as he gives her the letters Bayou had planned to write her. He is left to face the reality of his birth and his heritage as a fair-skinned black guy.